Hey friends, I hope you're doing great. Happy Sunday, wishing you an amazing new week. Today I'm going to be talking about why are we so polarized in politics. And I would love to get your opinions on why you think, at least it feels like now more than ever, we're so polarized. Right, left, center. And whichever country you go to, whatever state you're in, and now is like the midterm elections, and in general in the US, it's so heated. And the truth is, everywhere in the world, we're just living in times where it seems like politics is dominating the way people are acting. And we're almost acting in droves to defend opinions more than really show the best sides of ourselves. And of course, that's an old story for politics in general. But it's becoming so much more intense and so much more polarized wherever you go. And even here in Tzfat, beautiful, quiet Tzfat, as you see behind me, there's a city election going on over here. And I have to tell you, it's like heated up. People here are just like getting into things, and they have their candidate and they have their parties and they're like super into it. And I was kind of like asking, why is it? Why are we as humans hey Tzvi, why are we as humans so polarized especially when it comes to elections? We feel like we have to defend our candidate as if we're defending ourselves. And so really, it goes back to, we're all made of different opinions, and on a Kabbalistic level, we're made up of different soul roots. We have what is called right side, left side, and then the center. And the right side is chesed, is kindness, and those are people who are generally more liberally leaning, we could say, loosely. And then there's more the conservative side, which is more the left, which is more like, judgment, etc. Hey, Rozeli. And then the center is the connection between those two opposites. So in the Mishnah, actually, it's termed that we have Beit Hillel and we have Beit Shammai. We have the opinion of Hillel, we have the opinion of Shammai, and then we've got the center that merges the two. So generally speaking, how it should be in politics is that it's rooted in the side of holiness. However, not always the case, and sometimes, or most of the times, very far away from that. And I was trying to kind of like understand, why is that? Why are people so into their opinions, defending it as if like the world depended on it? Yes, thank you, Tzvi, for that reminder. So what I've come up with, and what I think, is that people are really looking to make a change, and they feel like they have power. They feel like they have power when the voting is up to them. They feel like, I have the power now to change and to shift. And so I think that it comes from a very deep place, from a very positive place within people, that they feel that they can make a change, that they could take the world and make it into a better place. Now, the danger of that is that all of a sudden you're putting your faith in a political opinion and a party and a candidate, and basically two things could happen as a result. First thing is that the candidate A is not going to follow through, and that happens, I believe, once or twice. It has happened in politics. Politicians come along and say that they're going to do all these incredible things, and they end up not, filling in on what they're going to do. And the second thing that's going to happen, or possibly could happen, is that we're mindlessly really putting our faith in something which is outside of ourselves, where we should put the faith in what is inside of ourselves and who is inside of ourselves. And what I mean by that is that we have to realize that the world is not going to shift just because a candidate or a president or a prime minister or whatever is chosen. And that's not going to make such an amazing difference in my life. It's not going to shift everything. And people have this very immature thinking that just this candidate is going to change my entire existence. My future and my present is going to be changed by that. But that's so far from the truth. And so I'd like to share with you a little story. Hey Maggie, yes, it is beautiful. A little story about a tzaddik, about a Rebbe who's called Rabbi Yisrael of Hostiin. That's what his name is. A little known, not so well known actually, but he was kind of like a miracle worker. Back pre-war and after World War II, he moved to Tel Aviv, and he had like a little, what is called like a little shul there in Tel Aviv. But back in Vienna, he was already a miracle worker, known for what he was doing. And he often sat at the head of the table, and all of his students sat around. And one time, what is called a yeki, someone who's born in Germany, and someone that doesn't really understand the whole spiritual or Kabbalistic aspect of what tzaddikim are, what holy people are, what a Rebbe is. So he was like questioning what they're really doing over here, why they're following this rabbi, this person. And he kind of like made a little bit of a ruckus, and the Rebbe heard this, and he said, please come to the front. And he asked this question. He said, what is a Rebbe? And the Hostiner said, well, you know that there is what is called a gabbai, the one who's in charge of the shul. And then above him is the one that's in charge of the all the funds that come in and out. And above him is the rabbi. And above him is, perhaps the community leaders and whatever, etc. And in a municipality as well, there are different degrees of responsibilities in a municipality. And then you have the mayor, and above him you have the prime minister or the providence, and above him is the prime minister, etc. So he said, what is a Rebbe? A Rebbe is someone who is a leader over himself, rules over himself. And I found that so profoundly deep and profoundly true, that when we talk about leadership and we talk about leaders, it ultimately comes down to ourselves, leading ourselves, and a Rebbe, someone that has control over himself, over herself, over their mind, over their heart, the kind of things that they think about, the places that they look at, the anxiety, the feelings that come to their heart, etc. Being in control of your feelings, of yourself, is a Rebbe, right? And so when we think about the control and the power that we sometimes attribute to people that are outside of ourselves and leaders in politics, etc., it pales in comparison to the ability to really have control over ourselves, to be a Rebbe over our own, what is called Daled Amos, our own vicinity, our own selves. And it's interesting that at the end of his day, King Solomon said, I was once a king over the entire world, but now I'm a king over my staff. And the deeper meaning of that is that, he was, on a superficial meaning, is that he lost all of his control of the entire world. He was like a world leader. But on a deeper level, really, the deepest control that you could ever have is control over yourself. You could rule over the whole world and not rule over yourself. Then you're ruling no one. And so that's the ultimate. And I think that all of this political hype and people outside of ourselves are just like getting so super into it. It's of course very troubling, and it's hard to get out of the hype and to just like think clearly and to just kind of like, get out of all this political agendas. But I think on a deeper level, everyone deeply really wants to be doing good things and control and awaiting for good things to manifest in the world. But what we have to remind ourselves, first of all, because we have to have control over ourselves, and then by default others, is that we have to have that control over our own selves, our own staff. So I'd love to hear what you guys think about that. Why do you think it's more polarized now more than ever? And how do we get out of that? I think it's communication. I think we need to communicate more. I think that we need to have that inner control, listen to other people, have dialect, and keep the tones down, and remember that it's all about being in control of our own staff. So I'd love to get your opinions on it. So please, like, jump in on the comments there, and in back of me, while you're thinking about that, the red light over there. What's up, Paul? The yellow flame behind me there is the flame of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. It looks like a fire, but it is really his eternal fire, which is the fire on the mountain there of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, the author of the Zohar, that of course taught us how to be rulers over ourselves by virtue of the study of Kabbalah, right? Yes, I definitely agree with you. Politics is a religion of, oh, yes, and I think it's Amalek, you know, it's like for sure, and it's the tool of negativity. And what I was just saying is that to get out of that cycle is for us to have control over ourselves first and foremost, before we try to go out and make a whole ruckus outside of ourselves. So that's my take, and of course we could go way into that, so I'd love to hear your opinions more. And I will just say that we're actually at Live Kabbalah. Sorry, it could sometimes be Live Kabbalah, like now, or sometimes it's live. It's about living. It's about practically applying this wisdom to our day-to-day lives, right? That's what it is all about. Not about just studying, but bringing it down to the practical. So we are actually coming out with a course of 12 classes on the Sfirot. So I just spoke to someone today in a one-on-one, and he was actually saying that the Sfirot, that the classes on the Sfirot totally changed his perspective, especially in his job. He was in a very tough job, and he's more of a chesed-oriented person, a loving-kindness person, and his boss was like this cruel, like mean guy who's trying to get his mind. How do I deal with this person? And so we've got chesed, we've got gevura, we've got the interconnection of so many dynamics of opposites. And so we'll stay tuned on that one, on the Sfirot package. In the meantime, let me give you a little bit of a view. What's up, Cecilia? Welcome, greetings. And this is the view of sunset over Tzfat, over Meron. Beautiful stuff. And the world is so beautiful. And the more we take those breaths of fresh air, right, and of consciousness, breath of fresh air into ourselves, and try to relate that more to others, the more we will live. And I believe we have no choice of coming to a time that we could interrelate and speak to each other in a respectful way, in a way that's going to be a humane way. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. So staying tuned on that. And in the meantime, doing our inner work, doing work on ourselves, and to try to become better and better each day. So good vibes, many blessings over here. And I will see you guys next week, and let you know when that course package is coming out. Michael, what's up? War is coming. We need to unite. Well, I hope not. And we should know that it's actually a big rule in the Tanakh, in the Bible, that that essentially anything negative could be transformed to positive, and any prophet that spoke negatively could always be proven wrong, because we as a people and as humans could just get on our best game and sort of dispel and push away any negative harbingers that are coming out at us. So I'm kind of like of the positive approach, and I think that we need to spread out more positivity and definitely unite, right? And so I'd much rather prefer uniting through the positive aspect than the negative. So yeah, So many blessings, guys. And I'll see you guys next week. And so for now, shalom from the Holy City.